Howdy folks, Algebra Readiness class time here. I'm going to give you a little video on today's assignment. We had this worksheet to do today. If you would like to try to put it on a Google Doc, you can do so like we did the other day. The other thing that you'll need to do is, if you don't, just take a picture of today's assignment with the answers on it if you can get it printed off. And then I'll take that as well, okay? Or if you want to write it down on a separate sheet of paper, you can do so. I put some review material up here just so that we have an idea of what we're doing with. Once again, we're talking about a coordinate plane and being able to graph things on a coordinated plane. All right? So in our first section, 1 through 21, they're going to give us a letter, and then they give us that parentheses with two numbers in it, okay? Using that, we need to decide, first of all, where it is located on our grid and actually graph it. And then second of all, what quadrant is it in? Now, if you don't recall, a quadrant is the area on the graph that it's in. So, and it goes in a counterclockwise order. So number 1 is in the top right. We move to 2, top left. 3, bottom left, and then finally 4 is the bottom right in counterclockwise fashion. And I also put little cues in there. If both numbers are positive, it's in number 1. If the numbers are a negative and a positive, they're in 2. Negative and a negative, they're in a 3. And a positive and then a negative, then it's in quadrant 4. Now, if you end up with a 0, okay, if you have a 0 for your first number, then it's stuck between both quadrants, so like 3 and 4. So you have a number here, it would be in quadrant 3 and 4. If a number is on the line, or a point is on the line here, it's between 1 and 4, 1 and 2 if it's on this line, and it's between 2 and 3 if it's on that line. Remember, the middle point, that part is called the origin. And that would be if you got a 0, 0, okay? 0, 0 is our origin. So if you end up with a link, and I don't think we have one on, don't have it on our paper today, 0, 0. So you wouldn't have to write origin down on that one. So you don't have to worry about that part. But let's go through a problem or two just to figure that out. Let's look at number 1. Number 1 has 5, 6, okay? And we're supposed to use the letter X, okay? Remember, the first number is on the x-axis. That's the one going across. And then the y-axis is the numbers going up and down. So left or right or up and down. If we go to the right, it's positive. If we go up, it's positive. All right, to go negative, you got to go the opposite direction. You got to go left to go negative and down to go negative. Okay? So we always start with that first number. I would always start going left or right first. Number 5, so it says a positive 5. I go to the right 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then it says go up 6. So I go up to where I have 6. I put a dot there, and I call that X. That's as simple as it is. That's all I have to do for those first 21 problems. Now your grid's going to get kind of cluttered with 21 answers. The second part is then I have to go through and say, okay, which quadrant is X in? Well, it's in quadrant 1. Okay? Let's look at number 7. So that was number 1. Look at number 7. Its letter is A, and the numbers are -5 and 0. So my first number tells me to go left or right. Okay, since it's negative, I'm going to go -5. The second number, 0, tells me to go up and down. And since it's 0, I don't go up and down at all. I just stay right there. So for number 7, that would be where point A is. Now I have to tell what quadrant is it in. Well, it's straddling that 2 and 3 quadrants. So I have quadrant 2 and quadrant 3 for that answer. I hope that's making sense. Okay? Shouldn't be too difficult. Just realize which direction you're going. All right? First number, left and right. Second number, up and down. It's easy. Okay? First number is the X value. Second number is the Y value. Okay? So, All those first 21 problems, all you're having to do is go through and put those dots on a grid or a graph, okay? So a coordinated plane graph, which cuts into 4 different sections with an X and a Y axis is what they call these. This is the X axis, this is the Y axis. Okay, so let's move on to 22 to 36, all right? Now 22 to 36, that actually has a graph on there. Okay, so it says write the order of pair that describes the location for each point in the coordinate plane. On these, you don't have to tell me which quadrant it's in, okay? So no quadrants on these. So let's look at them. All right, let's go to 29. 29 says B. Now, if you look on your piece of paper, B is all the way over here, okay? Put that up there. So what I do is I go left or right first. So it said B on mine is like right here. So I count over till I get to -6, and then I know it goes up 1. So my first number, left and right, will be -6. My second number, up and down, would be going up 1. That's positive, so it's a -6, 1. And that's my answer. I move to the left, -6, and I move up 1 to where B is at. Okay? Let's try number 24. The letter is M, and it is sitting right there. Okay? So my answer to that one would be move left or right first. So my first number is going to be to the right 4, +4, and it doesn't go up or down at all. It stays on the line, then that makes it a 0. So 4, 0 in parentheses, there's my answer for number 24. Okay? All right, relatively pretty simple. Let's do one more. Let's do number 30. Okay, I'm going to erase 29 and 24. Look at number 30. Okay, this one's sitting right about here. And that's letter A. That was letter M there. Okay, so right or left first? Well, I go to the right first, and it goes down to 5. So this is letter A, and I had to go to the right 5, and then I go down to right where -3 is at. So I went down, so I go negative. So 5, -3. Pretty simple how to do those, all right? If you look at the second page, though, and you may have to make, you will have to make another grid. There's no way about it. Let's look at one of those examples there and talk about it for a second, okay? Because they ask us to do some pretty interesting things with this then, okay? So we have to do some thinking on this one. Well, I don't want a dot on there, I just want 4. Okay, so what they ask us to do, let's go to number 39. And they give us a whole bunch of coordinates, -6, 3. Then they give us -6, 2. -1, 2. -1. -3. Okay? And you may have to draw a separate coordinate for each one of these so that they don't land up on top of one another. So what you have to do first is you have to put the dots on your grid, on your graph. Okay, so let's go where -6, -3 is. Okay, first number left or right. To the left, -6, and then down -3. 1, 2, 3, oh, -6. There's my first point. Then it says, let's do -6 again, and then go up 2. Okay. All right, there's -6, 2. Next one it says, go -1 to the left, up 2. 1, 2, and then do -1 down 3. And then it tells you connect the dots like you're making a dot to dot. Okay. So then it says, all right, figure, what kind of figure do we have? Well, let's see here. If we're at -3 to 2, that went up. Now let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And from -1 to -6, and you see my line's a little bit off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a 5 to the side, 5 up and down. If the sides are the same, our figure will be a square. So for the first part on 39 where it says figure, we're going to write in square. A square has all sides the same. There's 4 sides and all sides are the same. So that's the way we know it's a square. Now, if there were sides going up and down was a different distance apart than the side going across, we don't have a square anymore. We got a rectangle. Okay? So you're going to have to figure that out. Square, rectangle. You might even get like a trapezoid. Okay? That's where all the sides are different, but there's still 4 sides. Okay? Or a quadrilateral. You can't go wrong with a quadrilateral, right? 4-sided shape. Now, the next thing they ask you to do is figure out the perimeter. So if we know, since I counted it, the length of each side, if this side is 5 and this side is 5, that means this side's going to be 5 and that's 5. So to do a perimeter, add the numbers around. Or on a square, take 5 times 4 for 4 sides. So my perimeter of this shape is going to be 20, and we didn't give a specific, we're just going to call it units. For the area, we do length times the width, which would be 5 times 5. That would give us 25 units, and since it's a square, we have to put our 2 down there, meaning squared. Okay, that's how we solve 37, 38, 39, and 40. Here's the answers to 39. You got square, 20 units, that's the distance of perimeter, and then area, which is the length times the width, gives us the 25 units squared. Okay, so each time you do area, make sure you put the little 2 power to the second power on your answer, okay, because it is squared. Right? That's telling us how much area is inside of the square, not around the outside, which is perimeter. Okay, that's our lesson. That's what you got to do. Go back through if you don't understand that, okay, and try to figure out how to put the points down, draw it around, and then tell me whether it's a square or a rectangle. If you run into trouble, just put down quadrilateral, okay? I'm going to accept quadrilateral, all right? Because all of them should be a quadrilateral. There's nothing that's going to be more than that, okay? But you do have to figure out if it's the distance across, all right? That might be a little bit trickier, okay? Good luck with that. You have questions, email me. Let me know. Hey, I will see you tomorrow on Zoom at 10 o'clock, and if you have questions then, let me know. All right, talk to you later.